Welcome back, fellow colonialists and keepers of empires. Finally, I can bring you this episode. I have faced so many obstacles bringing it to you, but here is the custom-made Polyrhachis pods from none other than AntBoyUK. He's a UK-based manufacturer, and if you have any requirements, feel free to get in contact because he's really easy to work with. Look at this really nice touch he's put in of the lasered logo of the colonialist. I'm going to jump straight into the action on this one as I'm dying to get these set up for the Polyrhachis. The custom dimensions of the pod are 200 by 200 millimeters. I had the ports placed halfway up the setup. The port dimensions are 10 millimeters by 8 millimeters. Let's start setting up the nesting chamber. Prepared for the bottom, I've got aquarium gravel in white and grey and a pierced piece of bubble wrap that's been cut to size, which will separate the gravel layer to the layer of cocoa fibre and orchid bark. For decoration, I've got natural vines and roots. I bought those from the reptile section at Pets at Home. To accommodate the nesting habits of the Polyrhachis, I've put in wood chip bedding, which has had the dust removed, and natural hay. It's time to try out and apply the anti-climb from AntBoyUK. It's recently been upgraded from 8mm to 15mm. The testing of the setup completed, it's time to transfer the Polyrhachis. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to film it and do it at the same time, but I tell you, it was quite an adventure. I moved the smallest things and they all swarmed me. I persevered for hours, slowly transferring them across, one by one at times, using tweezers or my hands, or catching them on a piece of decoration and carefully transferring them over to the pod. Their upgraded home was long overdue. Little did they know what kind of treat they were in for. At this point, and understandably, they were quite upset and startled. I accidentally damaged their main nest within the log once I was removing it, as they had weaved part of the silk to the glass. For so long, this colony had allowed me to see into their inner workings. I put their nest back in view, hoping that I'd be able to see more. My goal of their nesting chamber is to create an actual pod fully designed for nesting, with multiple layers that they can weave nests into. They've now got 2 hollow logs they can use up, as well as structures in there that they can weave their nests upon. My idea to create the Polyrhachis pods was quite an experiment, and so far, I do honestly think the ants are enjoying it. It wasn't long before I spotted workers carrying pieces of the wood chip bedding to repair the damage to their nest. I stopped transferring over the cleaner crews and the isopods, and I sat and watched them for a while. It's quite magnificent to see them at work, and I couldn't wait to see the larvae come and start weaving it all together. I know it's not the perfect angle, but I'll leave you here to appreciate it like I did. The Polyrhachis are great architects. If you watch them at work, they lay the foundation before they start to weave it. There's loads of workers going about their business, laying pieces into position, waiting for the larvae to come and weave it. You can see better from this angle. If you watch carefully in the middle, an ant's about to pop up, holding a larvae to start weaving pieces into position. It's so easy to lose track of time watching these ladies put their entire nest back together, and how they work together in sync to make it happen. I'm a firm believer in the educational aspect of ants, and it's not hard to see by watching them work together like this, how we can also learn a thing or two, not only about ourselves, but about community, and helping each other out. If you're anything like me, you could probably spend the rest of this episode simply watching them put it back together. However, I still have work to do. There's a few stragglers and definitely a load of cleanup crew that need to be transferred across. So this is exactly how I was doing it. Tweezering one at a time if I had to. There you go, they would gently grab onto it and I'd transfer them over, or I'd grab a piece of the hay or the bark. So I lost tons of footage. I said earlier that I had lots of problem with this, lots of my footage corrupted, so I didn't get to show you setting up the other outworlds in the nesting chamber of these pods, but this is them now. So this is the outworld, and I've got 2 of the feeder stations also from AntBoyUK that he made for me. These are brilliant. I've got one filled up with his honey pops, and I've got one filled with water. They must have been thirsty, because believe me, they were all over both of them and could not get enough. I do say check out the honey pops that are sold on AntBoyUK. My colonies do just absolutely love them. Let's take a look at their secondary nesting pod. I purchased a cave and tree decoration from a Chinese manufacturer. The first one they sent me was too large, and they were kind enough to send me a smaller version, and I sent the larger ones back to them. Even with the pandemic, shipping was actually super fast. It arrived within 4 days. So I really can't thank them enough for the length that they went to for me. I hope soon I'll be bringing news that the Polyrhachis have decided to nest in this pod. It'll be interesting to watch. So the idea is to give them 3 pods. They've got 2 nesting pods and 1 outworld. They have quickly expanded into all 3 pods and truly do seem to be enjoying all the new space that they have. The greatest thing about these pods is they're modular. So when I need to give them more space, all I need to do is get another pod from Pete and I can just expand the space that they've got, which saves me space at the same time because I can move stuff around. I can pipe them across a longer distance and into another pod. And of course they're polydomous, which means that they have multiple nest sites. So as they expand, I expect to see that happen. Please let me know what you think in the comments about the Polyrhachis pods. Do you think they're a good idea, a bad idea? They certainly seem to be working out for the ants, and truly they do seem to be enjoying them. I love the way they look, and Pete from AntBoyUK has put an incredible amount of work into making them perfect for me. He is releasing a whole new range of nests and outworlds, so check those out as well. That does bring me to the end of the episode. I apologise for it being almost a month before I could release it. I did replace it with the other review from the AntBoyUK Etong Nest, so check those out. Congratulations to Ryan, he did win the prize. It's on Facebook, on my page at The Colonialist. So how would you guys feel about me doing a nature series? Would you like to see more about ants in the wild? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, The Colonialist, signing out.